Donnie Gilbert joins me now for our carrier update presented by AT&T Business. Donnie, what are we looking at here?
So we're looking at the outbound tender rejection rates for dry vans. Nationally, the average is about 3.75%, which is relatively low for tender rejection rates. So this year, we've always had low or excess capacity, which has pushed, the tender rejection rates down, which shows that our spot market rates have been, really suppressed this year for dry van carriers. So I kind of want to start out here. This is our outbound tender rejection index using our map features. And I'm going to start over here in the Northeast. We've actually had some a little bit picking up here, about 4 to 6% around the Harrisburg area. So this is actually looking good.
Yeah, last time we talked, the Northeast was not hot. Things weren't looking good.
Well, it's picking up.
Okay.
Boston is still 1.22%.
Okay.
So that's a very, very low tender rejection rate. Down here in the Southeast, we've got 4 and 5% starting to pop up here. So those are picking up a little bit. The Midwest is really where we've seen a lot of the strength that's been growing a little bit. We got rejection rates from 5 to 11% running through the Midwest. So here's the area where a lot of your carriers are really going to want to kind of stay. Up here, Sioux Falls is around 12%. That's a really good market. It's a smaller market and it's kind of remote, but if you can find loads out of Sioux Falls or going to Sioux Falls, those rates will be a little bit better. 12%'s a lot better than the contracted rates. When it starts picking up, over 10%, when I start getting kind of excited.
Yes.
So out on the West Coast, we've got Las Vegas at 5% and Phoenix at 5%.
Okay.
Which is picking up, which is a lot different than the LAX market, which is only like a little bit over 1%. So the LAX market has a lot of capacity, which is really keeping those rates down. And in LAX, those spot rates are below your contracted rates. So you might have shippers moving their freight from contracted rates over to the spot market because they're taking advantage of those low carrier costs.
And then we were talking about dry van here. Also, then we could look at same map, but with reefer then.
Yes, and reefer is quite a different map. The national outbound average for tender rejection rates for reefer has moved up to about 12%. So a lot different map. Reefer is probably the strongest mode of transportation that we're moving right now. So when we look over here, we see Roanoke, Virginia, 17% on tender rejection rates. It's a very strong tender rejection rate. We're around 12% down here in the South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina market. The Midwest has also picked up through here. And here in what I call the poultry region, we have 25 to down to Little Rock, Arkansas, 52% tender rejection rates in Little Rock, Arkansas. So that's feeding a lot off of Memphis. Memphis is in the mid 30s on tender rejection rates. So these right here is a really, really hot spot again. It's picking up. And if you're in the Midwest here in reefers, these are definitely good areas to keep your trucks moving in between. Moving out here, we got Salt Lake City has gained up to 20% on tender rejection rates. We talked about Idaho. The potatoes are coming out of Idaho. We're up to 13% in Idaho, and it's still holding at 20% in Spokane, Washington. You compare that down to the Midwest, or not the Midwest, the Southern California. We're looking at Fresno is about 5.5% on their tender rejection rates. So kind of weakening on the West Coast here. The Pacific Northwest has a lot of strength, Midwest, and Virginia.
A lot of great information there, both dry van and reefer. Thanks, Donnie Gilbert.
Improve your fleet's efficiency with AT&T Fleet Complete, a 4G solution for tracking vehicles and simplifying ELD compliance. AT&T Fleet Complete, delivering fleet solutions for every business.